This is pretty concerning. IQ scores have fallen in the United States for the first time in decades, according to a new study. Gen Z would be the first generation in over 100 years to have a lower IQ than the previous generation. Think about that for a second. That's pretty bad. I mean, like, what do we blame? Well, there's a lot of things to blame here. Gen Z is the first generation to have a lot of things. They're the first generation to have smartphones in second grade. They're the first generation to have unfettered, unlimited, on-demand access to porn anytime they want from the most formidable ages of their lives. Like I talked about it last week. Or no, I talked about it on YouTube. That's right. Like when we were kids, you know, it was like you had the family computer. Not everyone had iPhones. It was a lot more difficult to get a hold of stuff you weren't supposed to be looking at when you were a kid as it is now. And for previous generations, it was even more difficult. Well, Gen Z is the first generation that can just have it any point they want. Anytime they want, they can just pull it up. It's the first generation that's ever been able to do that from such a young age. You can't tell me that doesn't have have a negative effect on their IQs. Violent video games is another thing. I know they quote the studies, oh, video games don't make people violent. Well, I don't think video games push people to go shoot, 6 people in elementary schools. I think hormone pills do. But, no, I'm kidding. But I think you're kidding yourself if you're telling me that a child spending, the most influential years of their life looking down the barrel of a gun on Grand Theft Auto, mowing old ladies down. If you really are going to look me in that, you're kidding yourself if you don't think that that's got some type of negative effect on how their brain develops. The most important developmental years of their lives, mowing people down, killing prostitutes, robbing banks. Come on. And I think the bigger problem is this is the first generation. And this isn't their fault. I'm not like bashing the previous generation like it's popular to do. This isn't their fault. This is the first generation that's exclusively grown up with participation trophies. This is the first generation that has grown, and I think the most important point here, this is the first generation that has grown up with activist school, or with an activist school system, an activist public school system, where the public, not all of them, I'm not describing all teachers, I'm not even describing most teachers, but the individuals on the school boards and a lot of the newer people taking jobs as teachers have a direct goal to brainwash your kids, not teach them. When we were kids, think about all your teachers. How many of them could you really look back on, take an objective look at and say, yeah, that was an activist whack job? Throughout your entire school career, maybe one, maybe. Kids now are going to see like 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, because those are the people that are attracted to those jobs. In the 2010s, conservatives basically decided to step aside and give the left full reign of the school system while we went after Obamacare, and now we're paying the price for it. And you can see it in the voting patterns. You can see it in the voting habits, where Gen Z single-handedly saved the Democrats in the 2022 midterms. We're paying the price for it now. All I'm saying, Democrats have had a foothold. Liberals, I should say, not Democrats. The left has had a foothold on the public education system for the last 10 to 12 years. What have we seen in that time? Youth suicide skyrocketed. Youth obesity has skyrocketed. Youth substance abuse and overdose rates are at an all-time high. And now Gen Z will be the first generation in over 100 years, remind you, the generation that was coming of age while the liberals were taking over the school systems, to have a lower IQ than its predecessor. Maybe this isn't working. Maybe we're doing something wrong, letting these people have unfettered access to your children and running all over the school system. And conservatives, to their credit, have noticed the problem and have woken up for it, and they're starting to make changes, but it's too late. We've lost an entire generation to woke nonsense because we decided to take a step back and just ring the panic alarm about Barack Obama, who honestly, compared to this administration, looks like a far-right Nazi. Like, that's how far left, and I'm not calling Obama a Nazi, relax. Black Hitler, Kanye. I'm not calling Obama a Nazi. I'm just saying that's how far
There's
to
a
the...
lot of things that I love about Hitler.
I'm not calling Obama a Nazi. I'm just saying that's how far right he seems because this administration has gone so far to the left. I shouldn't say Nazi. They make Obama seem like a reactionary conservative from the Reagan era. We've said this for years, that this was coming. A generation of drugged out, porn addicted, fast food guzzling zombies. And now we have proof, and the chickens are here to roost.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you could actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.